The price of your desire is panic. Look closely at what you have become.
Kingsley lived in a quiet suburban area not too far from the city. The houses were close to each other. The roads were tarred but old. Children played football in the evenings, and traders pushed carts up and down the streets. From the outside, Kingsley's life looked normal. But inside, it was falling apart. Kingsley was poor, not because he was lazy, not because he was foolish. He worked hard every single day. Some days, he worked as a delivery helper. Some days, he washed cars. Other days, he carried loads for shop owners. Yet, money never stayed. Any little money that entered his hand disappeared quickly. Rent was always due. Bills piled up. Food was never enough. His wife Beatrice was his biggest support. Beatrice was gentle. She spoke softly. She believed in her husband. Even when there was no food in the house, she never insulted him. "It will get better," she always said. "Let us just be patient." But Kingsley was tired of patience. Every night, he lay on the bed and stared at the ceiling fan that barely worked. He felt ashamed. Men his age were building houses. Men his age drove cars. Men his age sent their children to good schools. But he could not even change his worn slippers. One afternoon, his childhood friend Martin came to visit him. Martin used to struggle like Kingsley before. But now, Martin looked different. He wore neat clothes. His phone was expensive. He smelled good. Martin sat down and looked around Kingsley's small apartment. He said nothing at first. Then he asked softly, "Kingsley, how long do you want to live like this?" Kingsley forced a smile. "I am trying," he replied. Martin leaned closer. "What if I tell you there is a way out?" he asked. Kingsley looked at him sharply. "What way?" he asked. Martin lowered his voice. "I know someone," he said. "Someone who can see why things are not working for you." Kingsley frowned. "What kind of person?" he asked. Martin hesitated. "A native doctor," he finally said. Kingsley stood up immediately. "No," he said firmly. "I don't want that." Martin sighed. "I said the same thing before," he replied. "But look at me now." Kingsley remained silent. That night, he could not sleep. He listened to Beatrice breathe beside him. He thought of the rent warning. He thought of the unpaid bills. He thought of the empty cupboard. In the morning, he agreed. They met Martin early and drove to the outskirts of the city. The native doctor lived in a quiet compound behind an old fence. The place felt heavy. The man did not smile. He did not greet. He asked Kingsley to sit down. He closed his eyes and spoke quietly. After some time, he opened his eyes and looked straight at Kingsley. "Your problem," he said calmly, "is not hard work." Kingsley felt hope. "Then what is it?" he asked. The man paused. "Your breakthrough is close," he said, "but it needs a strong sacrifice." Kingsley's chest tightened. "What kind?" he asked. The native doctor looked at Martin, then back at Kingsley. "Your wife?" he said. "She is the key." Kingsley jumped up. "No," he shouted. "I can never do that." The native doctor nodded slowly. "Then you will remain the way you are," he said. Kingsley stormed out. Outside, Martin followed him. "Think about it," Martin said. "Do you want to die poor?" Kingsley did not answer. He went home, confused. Beatrice welcomed him with a smile. She served him food, even though she barely ate. That night, Kingsley cried silently. After days of deep struggle, hunger and pressure won. He returned. The native doctor gave him a small packet. "Put this in her food," he instructed. "Be gentle. After she eats, take her to the bedroom. Lay her on the bed. Leave." Kingsley's hands shook as he took it. That evening, Kingsley did something strange. He cleaned the house. He helped Beatrice cook. He served her food himself. Beatrice laughed. "Why are you acting like this?" she asked. "I just want to make you happy," Kingsley said. She ate. Minutes later, Beatrice held her chest. "Kingsley," she said slowly, "I don't feel well." Fear rushed through him. He carried her into the bedroom. He laid her on the bed gently. She held his hand. "Please don't go," she whispered. Kingsley turned away. He stepped outside and closed the door. His heart was pounding. Suddenly, guilt struck him hard. "What have I done?" he cried. He rushed back inside. The room was quiet. Then he saw it. On the bed was a large cobra. Its body was thick. Its eyes were wide. Money was falling from its mouth onto the bed. Kingsley screamed. He ran out of the house and did not stop until he reached the native doctor's compound. He fell to the ground, breathing heavily. "There is a snake," he shouted. "My wife is gone." The native doctor looked at him calmly. He studied him carefully. Then he said, "Go back home. Lock your door. Pack your money. He leaned closer. Do not let anyone know, he warned. If this secret comes out, disaster will follow. Kingsley ran back home, but when he got close, he saw neighbors standing outside, and his door was open. Kingsley stood outside his house, breathing very hard. His chest was rising and falling fast. Sweat covered his face. His hands were shaking. Neighbors had gathered. Some stood with their arms folded. Some whispered to each other. Some looked straight at Kingsley with confused faces. Kingsley's heart was beating like a drum. In his mind, he was already preparing an answer. He thought someone would ask, "Why is there a big snake in your room?" Or, "What kind of thing is happening inside your house?" But nobody said that. Instead, a woman from the next compound spoke. "Kingsley," she said slowly, "we heard strange voices from your room." Another man nodded. "Yes," he said. "Very strange." Kingsley's head spun. "Strange voices?" He swallowed hard. The woman continued, "We entered your room to check because your door was open." Kingsley's heart nearly stopped. She added, "We checked everywhere." Then she said the words that shocked him, "But we found nothing." Kingsley froze. Nothing? His ears were ringing. How? He thought. How could they see nothing? His legs felt weak. He forced a small laugh. "Oh, maybe it was nothing," he said weakly, but his eyes kept moving. His body was restless. Inside his mind, fear and confusion were fighting each other. Is the snake invisible to them, or did it disappear? Before anyone could say anything else, Kingsley turned and rushed back into his house. "Kingsley!" Someone called, but he did not stop. He ran straight to the bedroom. He pushed the door open, and there it was. The cobra. Big. Alive. Moving slowly on the bed. Money was still coming out of its mouth. Notes dropped on the bed, onto the floor, one after another. Kingsley gasped. "It's still here," he whispered. His knees almost gave way. He slammed the door shut and locked it tightly. He leaned against the door, breathing heavily. After a few seconds, he remembered the neighbors outside. Fear rushed back into him. He wiped his face quickly and stepped outside again. Everyone turned to look at him. "Kingsley," one man said, "are you sure you are okay?" Kingsley nodded fast. Yes, he said. "I am fine." "But you were shouting," another neighbor said. Kingsley waved his hand. "It was just stress," he replied. "Please, go back to your houses." They looked at each other. One woman whispered, "He doesn't look okay." Another man shook his head. "Maybe he has mental issues." Kingsley heard them, but he did not respond. He forced a smile and repeated, "Please, go home." Slowly, one by one, the neighbors began to leave. Some kept turning back to look at him. Some shook their heads. Some whispered quietly. Kingsley waited until everyone was gone. When the street became quiet again, he locked his main door. He leaned against it and slid down to the floor. He covered his face with his hands. "This cannot be real," he whispered. After a few minutes, he stood up. He walked slowly to the bedroom. He unlocked the door carefully. The cobra lifted its head slightly. Money was still coming out. The bed was almost full. The floor was covered. Kingsley closed the door behind him again. He remembered the native doctor's words. "Lock your door. Pack your money." He looked around the room. He spotted an old big sack bag in the corner. It used to hold rice. He dragged it closer with shaking hands. Carefully, slowly, he began to pack the money. He did not want the notes to make noise. He kept looking at the door, afraid someone would knock. Each time the snake moved, Kingsley jumped. His heart was racing. Sweat ran down his back. "This is Beatrice," his mind whispered. "This was my wife." Tears filled his eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm sorry." But the money kept coming. The sack became heavier. Kingsley tied it tightly. Then he sat on the floor, staring at the snake. He did not know what to do next. Suddenly, he heard a knock. "Kingsley!" A voice called from outside. His heart nearly jumped out of his chest. He froze. The knock came again. "Kingsley, are you there?" It was Martin. Kingsley swallowed hard. He quickly pushed the sack under the bed. He wiped his face and opened the bedroom door just a little. "Wait," he whispered to himself. He stepped out and locked the bedroom again. Then he went to open the main door. Martin stood there, smiling. "You left the native doctor's place suddenly. I saw you running out when I just arrived there," Martin said. "I was worried." Kingsley forced a smile. "I'm fine," he replied. Martin looked at him closely. "You look pale," he said. "Are you sure everything is okay?" Kingsley nodded. "Yes," he said quickly. "I'm just tired." "I'm sad." Martin glanced around the house. "Where is Beatrice?" he asked. Kingsley's chest tightened. "She is sleeping," he replied. "She was not feeling well." Martin nodded slowly. "That thing worked, right?" he asked quietly. Kingsley did not answer. He did not trust his voice. Martin smiled. I told you, he said. Sometimes hard choices bring big rewards. Kingsley clenched his fists. Martin continued. You just have to be careful. Kingsley nodded again. Martin stepped back. I'll come later, he said. Rest. When Martin left, Kingsley locked the door again. He leaned against it and closed his eyes. His legs were weak. He went back to the bedroom. The cobra was still there. Money still coming. Kingsley sat on the floor, hugging his knees. His mind was full. Fear, guilt, greed. He remembered Beatrice's smile, her kindness, her voice. Tears dropped onto the floor. I didn't want this, he whispered, but the sack under the bed was heavy. Very heavy. Night slowly fell. The sound of cars faded. The street became quiet. Kingsley did not turn on the light. He sat in the dark, listening. The soft sound of money falling. The slow movement of the snake. Then, something strange happened. The snake stopped. Kingsley looked up sharply. The room became silent. No movement. No sound. Why did it stop? He whispered. His heart was pounding again. The cobra lifted its head and stared at him. Kingsley froze. Its eyes looked deeper than before. It slowly turned its head toward the door. Kingsley followed its gaze. He heard footsteps outside. Someone was walking slowly. Then, he heard a voice. Kingsley. It was Beatrice's voice. Kingsley screamed. Why did you do this to me? The voice was clear. It was calm, but full of pain. Kingsley's whole body shook. Despite all our sufferings together, the voice continued. You went to look for wealth, and you used me to get it. Kingsley's mouth opened, but no sound came out. He wanted to speak. He wanted to cry, but his throat was dry. I stood by you, the voice said, when there was no food, when rent was due, when people laughed at you. Kingsley fell to his knees. I am sorry, he whispered. I was weak. The voice did not shout. It did not insult him. I will not place a curse on you, it said, but may the universe judge you. As soon as those words were spoken, something strange happened. The room became very cold. The air felt heavy. Kingsley lifted his head. The cobra was gone. Just like that. No sound. No movement. No trace. It vanished into thin air. The bed was empty. The floor was empty. Only the smell in the room remained. Kingsley screamed. He jumped up and ran outside. He ran into the compound. He ran to the street. He turned around again and again, looking everywhere. What have I done? He shouted to himself. What have I gotten myself into? His eyes were wild. His clothes were soaked with sweat. Neighbors were sitting in front of their houses. Some were on plastic chairs. Some were on benches. Some stood with their arms folded. They all stared at him. Is this man okay? A woman whispered. Another man shook his head. He has been behaving strangely these days, he said. Very strangely. Kingsley heard them, but he could not respond. He stood there, breathing hard. He wanted to go back inside, but fear held his legs. What if it comes back? He thought. What if she speaks again? He stayed outside. Minutes passed, then hours. The sky became dark. Streetlights came on. People slowly went back into their houses. Still, Kingsley stood there, alone, afraid, cold. Finally, late in the night, when the area became quiet, Kingsley gathered courage. He unlocked his door. He stepped inside slowly. The house was silent, too silent. He walked toward the bedroom. Each step felt heavy. His heart was beating loudly in his ears. He pushed the bedroom door open. What he saw made his whole body go numb. Beatrice was lying on the bed, still, motionless. Her eyes were closed. Her body did not move. Kingsley did not scream. He did not cry. He stood there, staring. His mind was empty. He walked closer. He touched her hand. It was cold. He stepped back. She is gone, he whispered. Still, he did not shout. Instead, he turned away. He looked around the room. Then something else entered his mind. The money. He packed them into sacks hurriedly and stood by the corner of the room. After some time, his eyes moved to the sacks. They were still there. Heavy. Full. Kingsley wiped his face. He went into the store and brought out more old bags. One by one, he packed the money. He worked quietly, slowly, carefully. He did not want any sound. After packing everything, he sat down and took a deep breath. Then he picked up his phone. He called Martin. Martin came quietly. No greetings. No questions. They carried the sacks out one after another. Nobody saw them. The night hid everything. When Martin left with the bags, Kingsley locked the door. He went back to the bedroom. Beatrice was still there, lying quietly. A few hours later, just before morning, Kingsley suddenly screamed. A loud scream. A painful scream. The sound cut through the silence. Neighbors jumped out of their beds. Lights came on. Doors opened. People rushed to Kingsley's house. What happened? Someone shouted. They ran inside. Kingsley was standing in the bedroom, shaking. He pointed at the bed. My wife, he cried. I woke up and found her like this. People gathered around the bed. Someone touched her. Another person shook their head. She is gone, a woman said softly. The room filled with whispers. Some people covered their mouths. Some cried. Some stared at Kingsley. This is strange, a man whispered. She was fine yesterday. Kingsley fell to the floor. He held his head. I don't understand, he cried. I slept and woke up to see her like this. People looked at each other. Suspicion began to grow, but no one said anything yet. Kingsley cried louder. He rolled on the floor. My wife, he shouted. But inside his heart, fear was growing, because he knew something nobody else knew, and he knew this was not over. Not yet. Beatrice was buried on a rainy afternoon. The sky was dark. The wind was cold. Tears fell like rain. People cried openly. Women wailed. Men shook their heads in pain. Children stood quietly, confused. Beatrice was known in the area. She was kind. She greeted everyone. She helped people even when she had nothing. Kingsley stood beside the grave. His eyes were swollen. His face looked empty. His body looked weak. He cried loudly. My wife, he shouted. My only helper. People held him. They comforted him. Be strong, they said. God knows best. No one suspected him. No one knew what truly happened in that house. After the burial, Kingsley became a shadow of himself. For 3 months, he mourned. He wore black clothes. He stayed indoors. He avoided people. He cried every night. Sometimes he called Beatrice's name in his sleep. Neighbors felt sorry for him. This man loved his wife, they said. But while Kingsley mourned on the outside, something else was happening. Money kept coming. Not small money. Big money. Kingsley did not work, yet money flowed. After 3 months, everything changed. Kingsley packed his things. He left the small apartment. He bought a very big house in the city. The house was beautiful. Big gate, tall fence, security guards, many rooms. People were shocked. How did he do it? They whispered. Some said luck found him. Some said destiny finally opened. Kingsley said nothing. He kept quiet. Not long after moving, Kingsley married another woman. She was young. She was cheerful. She loved luxury. Kingsley spoiled her. He bought her expensive clothes. He bought her jewelry. He bought her a brand new car. He opened a big business in her name. People admired them. Kingsley has finally arrived, they said. But at night, peace never came. Every night, the new wife had the same dream. In the dream, a woman appeared. The woman was thin. Her face was tired. Tears dropped from her eyes. She stretched her hands forward. Please, she begged. Help me. The new wife woke up sweating. At first, she ignored it. But the dream came again. And again. One morning, she told Kingsley, there is a woman I keep seeing in my dreams, she said softly. She is always crying. Kingsley froze. His heart skipped. But he forced a smile. It is because of those horror movies you watch, he said. Stop watching them. She agreed. But the dreams did not stop. Sometimes the woman stood silently. Sometimes she cried loudly. Sometimes she just stared. Each time, the new wife woke up shaking. She told Kingsley again. He became irritated. Enough, he said. It is nothing. Life moved on. Kingsley became richer. More cars. More houses. More respect. But fear followed him everywhere. One afternoon, Kingsley was alone in the house. The house was quiet. Suddenly, the room became cold. Kingsley felt it. He turned slowly. And there she was. Beatrice. Standing quietly. She looked just like before. Same face. Same eyes. Same sadness. Kingsley wanted to scream, but no sound came out. His body froze. Beatrice looked at him for a long time. Then she vanished. Kingsley collapsed. He cried like a child. That night, he ran to the native doctor. I told you, he said, shaking. She is appearing. She appears to my wife in her dreams. The man gave him something to rub on his body. She will not appear again, he said. For a while, things became quiet. No dreams. No appearances. Kingsley relaxed. He believed it was over. But one night, everything broke. Beatrice appeared again. This time, she did not disappear quickly. She stood before him. Her eyes were full of pain. Kingsley screamed. Something inside him broke. He tore his clothes. He ran out of the house. Into the street. People woke up. Lights came on. Neighbors rushed out. Kingsley was shouting, "I did it. I used my wife for wealth." People froze. "I sacrificed Beatrice," he screamed. "I wanted money." Phones came out. People gasped. Police were called. Kingsley collapsed. The truth came out. The wealth, the secret, the guilt. Kingsley was taken away. The big house became empty. The cars were seized. The business closed. His second wife left him. People talked for years. Some said greed destroyed him. Some said, a man can lie to the world, but he cannot lie to his conscience. Kingsley lost everything. The wealth, the respect, the peace. The big house became empty. The cars were taken. The businesses closed. And Beatrice, she finally rested. From that day, the street remembered one lesson. Money can buy comfort, but it can never buy peace. And some choices, once made, destroy everything forever.